You're probably spreading one of these 5 butters on your food right now, and you have no idea that it's silently wrecking your gut, your hormones, and your fat burning. These brands look innocent, but they're poisoning you from the inside out. You've been lied to by labels, marketing, and the food industry. Let me show you what's actually safe before it's too late. When the low-fat craze died down, corporations realized butter was back in style, and they wanted in. But producing real butter from grass-fed cows cost money. So they found ways to stretch the product, blending in seed oils, GMO soy lecithin, or even changing the moisture or fat ratios just enough to pass labeling laws. You see, these butters oxidized fast. That means your body takes in rancid inflammatory omega-6 fats, which inflame your gut lining, stiffen your cell membranes, and slow fat burning. So let's go brand by brand and break down the 5 worst butters out there and the better options. The first brand is a brand of butter called Bunge. Bunge is actually one of the largest producers, global producers of vegetable oils. Soybean, canola, sunflower, you name it. They supply oils to fast food chains, margarine manufacturers, and food processors worldwide. So when you see Bunge butter, realize that it's not your grandmother's butter. It's made by the same conglomerate that made the empire on seed oils, not cream. Earlier this year, 64,000 pounds of Bunge butter were actually recalled for failing to list milk. This was a Class 2 FDA recall. But the real red flag, many of their butter blends use soybean or canola oil to extend volume and softness. These oxidize quickly and they promote inflammation, insulin resistance, and hormone imbalance. So avoid anything by Bunge or labeled butter blend. It's just industrial oil disguised as dairy. The second brand to avoid is Cabot Creamery. Cabot markets itself as being farmer-owned, but several of its products include added natural flavors and color stabilizers. These usually come with a carrier oil, often soybean oil or sunflower oil. In 2025, they recalled 1,700 pounds of butter due to contamination, meaning traces of fecal bacteria. That shows poor sanitation and possibly cross-contamination, which matters because oxidation and bacteria together can turn dairy fats into inflammatory compounds. If Cabot doesn't list seed oils directly, their use of flavor carriers and large-scale blending makes their purity questionable. Better options exist. The third butter to avoid is Land O'Lakes butter. Land O'Lakes is an American icon, but behind that nostalgic logo lies corporate reformulation. For years, their spreadable butter with canola oil has been one of the top sellers in the supermarkets. But it's not butter. That's a canola oil blend, a product that's 25 to 40% seed oils by weight. Canola oil is highly processed, deodorized, and often rancid before it even hits the shelf. Studies show that unstable omega-6 fats that are oxidized enter the bloodstream, raise inflammation, and raise small LDL particle, which damages your arteries. This is a direct hit to your metabolism and heart health. And then there's the labeling chaos. So if it says spreadable, canola, or blend, leave it on the shelf. Real butter doesn't need vegetable oil to spread. The fourth butter to avoid is Great Value, found at Walmart. Great Value is the house brand of Walmart, and its butter is not consistent nationwide. Some regions sell pure butter, others quietly swap in soybean or mono or diglycerides, both derived from seed oils. Independent lab tests found their fat content to be below the legal butter minimum, meaning some versions aren't even real butter. Mono and diglycerides are emulsifiers that mimic trans fats in the body, interfering with insulin signaling, elevating triglycerides, which is fat in your bloodstream, and worsening belly fat. Great Value does live up to its name in terms of your wallet, but not for your mitochondria. Save money elsewhere, not the fats your cells run on. And the fifth butter to avoid is Challenge butter. Challenge butter often looks clean on the label, just cream and salt, but multiple consumer reports have noted oxidation issues, rancid smells, and a grainy texture, all signs that the butter's fatty acids have degraded due to poor chain handling. Once those fats oxidize, they behave like seed oils in the body, creating lipid peroxides that damage mitochondria and accelerate aging. Some of their flavored butters and whipped lines also contain soy lecithin and natural flavor blends suspended in oil carriers. Even if it starts clean, storage failures can turn it into a toxic butter. Skip it unless you can verify freshness and handling. Now let's discuss the 2 butter brands that are actually real butter, anti-inflammatory, healthy for your body, and actually helps you burn fat. The first option is Kerrygold, imported from Ireland. They use mostly grass-fed cows on mineral-rich Irish pastures. No seed oils, no fillers. This type of butter is rich in vitamin K2, CLA, which is conjugated linoleic acid, actually helps you burn fat, and healthy omega-3 fats. You see, real butter fat stabilizes your mitochondria and improves hormone signaling. Just be a little cautious. Some US Kerrygold style sticks sold in domestic packaging have been reformulated for shelf stability. So those are not the same. Make sure it reads and look for the text on that label, product of Ireland. The second brand that's a great option for butter is going to be Vital Farms. 100% pasture raised, and they use regenerative farms as well. No seed oils, no emulsifiers, and no flavor blends. Their short supply chain means lower oxidation. It's naturally higher in butyrate, a healthy short-chain fatty acid for your gut, and naturally high in conjugated linoleic acid. Vital Farms is one of the few US brands that tests for butter fat composition and freshness. These butters are fuel for your metabolism, not friction. The best way to use the real butter is going to be cooking your food in that butter. Eggs, when you cook your eggs, you use real butter. If you want to put butter in your coffee or tea, amazing way to get the butter, the healthy fats in the butter. So just make sure you're buying the right brands and staying away from the fake butter blends that are poisoning your body. Now, with that being said, I'm going to address your top questions on this topic. Before I do, I want to give you a free resource. This is the world's easiest breakfast diet. This is important. If your belly fat hasn't moved in months, even though you've been doing everything right, it's not your fault. You've been lied to. The real problem, visceral fat, insulin resistance, metabolic dysfunction, and no one's shown you how to fix it until now. This free 7-day guide flips your fat burning switch on with 0 calorie counting, 0 guesswork, and meals so simple it feels like you're cheating. This is your body's reset button. If you're sick of starting over, click the first link in the description box below for those watching on YouTube, or scan the QR code on the screen and take back control. This isn't just a diet, it's the last one you'll ever need. Now let's get to your questions. What does it mean when a label on butter says natural flavor or spreadable? Does that always mean seed oils are added? Usually it does mean seed oils are added because it helps it spread better. With the real brands I mentioned, the Kerrygold and the Vital Farms, they don't even have those options because it's actually real butter with real buttermilk fat and it spreads easily. So you want to be cautious when you read the ingredients natural flavor, or when you see on the label it says spreadable butter. That should be a red flag. Is clarified butter, which is called ghee, safer since the milk solids are removed, or can seed oils still be blended into some brands? Seed oils can still be blended into some ghee brands, but ghee is a good option for anybody who's sensitive to lactose. It's also a healthy fat. It just simply removes the milk fat. And you could also use it as a spreadable sort of butter, but it's actually ghee, or put it in your coffee, cook your eggs with it. It's a great option. Fourth and Heart is a brand that I personally use. It's grass-fed ghee, no seed oils, and it actually tastes pretty damn good. What exactly happens in the body when you eat oxidized fats like fake butter or seed oils? How do they harm the mitochondria? These bad damaged fats are a poor source of energy for your mitochondria. It weakens them. It dims your battery levels, which is your mitochondria. It essentially is poison for the mitochondria. And the crazy thing about these bad fats is that they stay in your body for years. They stick around the cell membranes and the mitochondrial membranes for many years. The half-life is actually 680 days, which is 2 years. That means when you stop eating them today, about 2 years later, half of them will still be suffocating the cell membranes, creating rigid membrane integrity at the cell level, but also the mitochondrial level. And it takes about 6 years for 95% of it to be removed. So you want to make sure you're really diligent with following these tips here. How long does it take for the body to recover if you switch from seed oil-laced butter to pure grass-fed butter? Well, I just mentioned 2 years is the half-life, but as you bring in healthy fats and practice fasting and do all the things I teach you on this channel, you could accelerate the removal of the bad fats and rebuild them with the building blocks of these healthy saturated and monounsaturated fats. What's the best way to store butter to prevent oxidation and keep it metabolically healthy? Countertop, fridge, or freezer? I keep my butter either from Kerrygold or Vital Farms, in the refrigerator. And whenever I use it, I just take it out of the fridge, cut a couple of slices, cook my eggs with it, cook my food with it. Sometimes I put it in my coffee and tea. So I would say keeping it in your refrigerator is the best option. Is there any safe way to eat canola-based butter blends in moderation, or should they be eliminated entirely? This is the one thing that I don't make an exception with. I have sugar, I have carbs sometimes I feast it up, but I never intentionally have seed oils. And the other thing is gluten for me as well, because they're just so damaging. They go into your cell membranes and mitochondria membranes within hours after eating it through a process called lipid membrane reorganization. And it stays there for years. So to me, it's not worth the hit. Sure, there are some things you can do, as I mentioned, to speed up the process of removing them: fasting, sauna, adding in healthy fats. But the number one thing is to avoid the hit. You don't want to take the hit. I would avoid rancid fats as much as possible. Do seed oils in butter really affect fat loss, or is that overstated? It's not overstated, because when we think about fat loss, it's all about lowering your cell membrane inflammation levels. Within your cell membranes, you have receptor sites for all of your fat-burning hormones. And if those cells and receptor sites are inflamed because of seed oils, fake butter, your fat-burning hormones cannot get into your cells and tell your cells produce energy and burn fat. So it creates weight gain and then weight loss resistance and then something else called hormone resistance. So it's not overstated. Bad fats will directly impact your ability to lose weight. It'll cause weight gain through cellular inflammation. Hope this is valuable. Share it with somebody you know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you love this lesson, you're going to love a previous lesson I published titled "Doctors Can't Explain This: Why Fasting for 16 Days Will Transform Your Health." You got to check out this lesson. Here's a clip from that video. Then click the video on the screen, and I'll see you in that next lesson. In 30 days, your cravings change. In 90, your fat melts. In 365, you are unrecognizable. This isn't a diet. It's a biological reset. The first thing you're gonna notice is that cravings rewire. At first, you'll feel hunger waves, not because your body needs